Well, former President Jacob Zuma believes he has a strong case against journalist Karyn Maughan and state prosecutor Billy Downer. And that's after he instituted private prosecution against both of them over the publication of some of his medical details, which he says amounts to a breach of the NPA Act. That case has been postponed to February next year. So this morning we're asking, what is this battle teaching us about the maturity of our constitutional democracy? That and a whole range of other questions. To speak to us about it is Moeng, who is a brand and reputation management expert. Solly, it's great to have you with us on the program. Thanks very much for coming on so early. I mean, there's a lot that we can take from what unfolded yesterday in court. Shall we begin with just a broad statement from you on what you make of this moment?
Well, first of all, we know everyone who's been following this Zuma matter for years, it's more than 20 years now, I think, knows that he's really delaying as much as he can so that he never gets to see himself sitting in that box in the courts. That's what he's doing. But the sad thing about it, in a bigger, probably from a bigger perspective, is that not all South Africans can afford to do what he's doing. We have no idea who's funding all these court cases. I mean, if he had no case to answer to, he would have gone to the courts long ago, prosecuted, found not guilty, let go. But he knows that once he sits in there, he's going to end up in prison. He knows that. But many South Africans who might not need to be to go this off, who don't need to be in jail, don't have the money to keep paying lawyers to run as fast as Zuma has played, and which says something about our constitution. Really, is there equality before the law? Maybe, if you have the money.
Up to R1 million a day. That's what some estimates put to what this trial will cost, if indeed it does go ahead for the days that it's been set down for.
Yeah, perhaps in the same way that we want political parties to tell us where they're getting their funding from. People like him should be forced to be transparent about where he gets the money from. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Where does this money get the money from? I mean, the state is not paying for his legal fees, in as far as I'm concerned. And all those people. The thing is, we also live in a country where a lie repeated over and over again becomes truth for some people who are too lazy to go back to understand exactly where it started. And that's why you have all these Moeng Zuma people going around asking what Zuma has done. But Zuma has done so much wrong to South Africa.
The Sowetan newspaper this morning is going with one angle in that address that the former president gave to his supporters outside of court, where he thanked the rioters from July of last year, those 8 days in July. Who can forget 350 people being killed in KZN and parts of Gauteng as well, billions wiped from the South African economy, countless businesses having to close their doors, left a bitter taste in the mouth of people who were impacted by the riots of last year.
It should, but we should also ask us again, let's go back to the question of equality before the law. We know that Zuma's children, especially the daughter, Duduzile, has been quite prominent in instigating people to fight for her father, to defend her father. And she was on Twitter all over the place. Everybody got arrested except her. Why? The South African justice system needs to realize that it's meant to serve all of the citizens of South Africa equally. And when they allow people to get away with stuff like this, the levels of arrogance and impunity go up. So Zuma doesn't care about himself that so many people have lost their lives, so many people have lost their business, so much has been lost to the economy because of the stuff that was done before him. Now he's standing up in front of the world to say thank you for that stuff. And people are still, so they'll do it again. You see, the thing is, when there are no consequences, people will see no need not to do it again. They will do it again. They must go after Zuma's daughter. They must.
Yeah. Solly, the ANC in KZN giving its support to the former president, and they say that they have a right to do so, that he has a right to hold a journalist that he believes operated unethically accountable, right? And just in broad strokes, that is true. As journalists, we occupy and we abide by a code of ethics. There are rules to how we do this job. Yeah. Is there a but to the statement I'm making here?
Well, they're saying he must hold her accountable, but they've been trying to hold him accountable. The people of South Africa, the criminal justice system, at least a part of it, that's trying to do something about it. But they're not letting him do that. Each time he gets arrested, we saw what happened last year. So it's hypocrisy. But those people, it's not just the ANC in KZN, as a matter of fact. Other leaders of the ANC have been reported to be visiting, to be paying some kind of pilgrimage to Nkandla to get advice on leadership. What leadership? This man has damaged South Africa, and the entire ANC is responsible, not just the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal. And that's a sad part of South Africa. You see, South Africa is not going to heal while the ANC continues to run the show. It won't. So we shouldn't say this ANC, the entire ANC is hurting this country. The president of the ANC should stand up and say, guys, stop it. You know what happened. We have to let the law do what it must. But even he can't, because when he points one finger to anybody, for the four other fingers are pointing back to him with reason. So he doesn't have the moral high ground to speak down to other people. That's where we are as a country.
Do you think, Solly, that part of the reason why people like President Cyril Ramaphosa, as you say, are not coming out with any strong statements is because this is election season for the governing party, and actually it's more about my own ideals insofar as leadership in the ANC is concerned, and me occupying particular leadership positions in the ANC is concerned, rather than taking the moral high ground?
Yeah, today, because we have elections coming up in December, we're going to say it's because of the elections. Even in January, February next year, if he wins, he will still be defending the indefensible. The ANC just defends the indefensible. Of course, now he has an added reason, which is that he wants to make sure that he keeps as many people as possible on his side so that he gets elected again for another term. But the ANC has been defending the indefensible for years, whether they have elections coming up or not. They defended Zuma through all the time. They're defending Ramaphosa now. Those people don't in Parliament, and the Chief Justice, the current Chief Justice, to say the ANC will do it again. They are doing it again. They defended Zuma then, they're defending Ramaphosa now from a probe. This man must tell South Africans what happened on his farm. He's the president. He harbored a huge amount of money. There was a case reported. He never reported. There was the robbery that he never reported. He's still not telling us exactly what happened. The ANC in Parliament should be holding the executive to account. It's not doing that. It's done it before. It's doing it again. It will do it again in the future. So it's not about the election. It's just the ANC. Those are the values of the ANC. Defend our people against the goodness of South Africa, no matter what.
We know how important journalists are in South Africa, Solly, in a context where so much of the work done by journalists was the reason why we even had the state capture inquiry. So much of the corruption that we uncover in the country starts with investigative journalists doing the hard graft of going through troves of emails and data and financial records. Depending on how this case goes, is there a concern from you that it might impact the work of journalists going forward?
Yeah, it will. There's a chance of it doing so, but I'm really still very on the optimistic side that the journalists will come out okay out of this. But yes, journalists have come under pressure from time to time by the African National Congress, by supporters of the ANC, leaders of the ANC. But I think the South African investigative journalism and media in general, despite mistakes here and there over time, we have amazing media in South Africa. There's a lot of stuff that came out into the public sphere that would not have come out without the courage. And a lot of these people are not paid a lot of money, but they're passionate people who say, this is the truth, it must be out there. We must do everything as a society to defend the liberty of the press in South Africa, to make sure that we stand on the right of these people, because without them we are doomed. We're going to become another Russia, another Rwanda, where you say something, you're out. Another country called Uganda, and all those other places where there are no freedoms, the kind of freedoms that we have. So we should defend Karyn, we should defend other journalists who find themselves in this situation, but we should also encourage them to not give reasons to these people to clamp down on them and the liberties they need in order to do the work they must for South Africa. Absolutely.
Solly Moeng, let me thank you for your time this morning. He is a brand and reputation management expert as we continue to unpack the ramifications insofar as the former president's case against journalist Karyn Maughan and state prosecutor Billy Downer is concerned. Solly, thanks very much indeed.